So, at this time, give your undivided attention to Mr. Rivera.
How are y'all doing? First, I'd like to thank the author of our very existence for being here. Second, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out to hear me speak. Third, I'd like to thank the staff, Mr. Slocum, Ms. Slocum, Mr. Chance, for making this happen. Because to be honest with you, it's more of a gift to me to be standing before you than it probably is going to be a gift for you. But we'll see. We'll see. Some of you think that maybe I might be coming up here to entertain you. Not going to happen. Maybe I'm going to come out here and perform for you. Not going to happen. I'm not a singer. I'm not a dancer. I don't play any instruments. All right? That's not what I'm here to do. Today, what I'm here to do, going to do is actually give you the truth. How many of y'all like the truth? How many like the truth about themselves? Hands went down, hands going back up. Do you really like the truth? Do you want me to bring you the truth and give you the truth? Now y'all are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Am I right or wrong? Can y'all take the truth? The way I speak, the way I teach, a lot of adults can't handle it. All right? But from my experience, children take it and receive it 10 times better. So I've decided to start giving my message and delivering my message to the youth. That's not the main reason, but it's because I truly believe that you are the future. How old do y'all think I am? Those who already know, no, don't say. 37? Okay, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Right here. 73. He said I'm 73. 24. 22. 25. Girls first. Right here. 33. A million. You're not going through math, brother. What's that? What you making math? What kind of grade you got in math? An F? Okay, it's honors. It's quite honors. A little laughter. You know, I'm not, did you really get math, brother? I'm speaking to you today, all right? My message is for you, all right? You look at me. You hear me. All right? You got an F in math, a C. Oh. Hey, hold on. Come here. Come on. Get up, man. Come here. Get up. Let's go. Okay, that's it. No more talk. Everybody. That's it. No more games. No more playing. All right? It's time to get serious. I got a little bit of time. All right? I took off from work to come see you, so I want you to give me your undivided attention. I'm going to get that anyways. I really don't have to ask that of you. I really don't need Mr. Slocum to tell you to be quiet, because you're going to listen. Watch what I'm telling you. I'm going to spend about 45 minutes to about 55 minutes with you. Anybody got a watch on? Anybody got a watch? From now on, everybody should be wearing a watch. I don't care how cheap it is. Wear a watch. You got to know the time. You need to know what time it is at all times. All right? Now, normally when a speaker will come before you, especially a guy like me that's 39 years old, all right? I'm about to be 40 years old. You hear me? Listen to me. Be quiet and listen. Nobody said do any talking. Right now it's my time. You own my time. You understand? And I'm taking my time to be with you. But we're going to stop the joking. Watch what I tell you. And it's not going to be too many smirks and too many smiles when I finish talking to you. Because I didn't come out here to play with you. All right? I didn't come out here to tickle you under your arm and make you giggle. All right? I didn't come out here to tickle on the bottom of your feet and make you smile. All right? That's not what I'm out here. And I didn't come out here to dance. All right? I didn't come out here and drop it like it's low. No, listen to me. Listen to me. It's funny, right? Just you hearing me say, drop it like it's hot or drop it low, right, is hilarious. Whether I twist the two up or not, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But a lot of people, they come and they speak before you because you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I just spoke to 9th graders at E.E. Smith. Some of y'all are probably be going to E.E. Smith real soon. All right? But see, the message I'm getting ready to deliver to each and every one of you, a 6th grader, 7th grader, and an 8th grader, the average adult, before I deliver to you, say, I don't know if they're ready for that kind of message, but I know you're ready for that kind of message. You want to know why? Because I got a 9-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old son, a 5-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old son. And listen, and when I speak to them, I get all their attention. Even my little 2-year-old over there, when I'm speaking to him, he's standing there, he's saying, yes, sir. Because he understands exactly what I'm saying. Now let me give you my life story. My life story. It's very important that each and every one of you, as you grow up in age, as you get older, that you understand why are you here and how you got here. 2 state of minds came together. 2 state of minds came together to get you here. And it's very important that you understand what was in your mother's mind, what was in your father's mind to get you here. Now, some of you probably would never know that because some of you may not know your father, may not know your mother. Don't give me no problems, young brother, all right? Now, listen. Some of you need to understand that. Some of you have to understand it. Some of you would probably never understand it or know it. But you'll get the understanding of your mother and your father and what state of mind they were in when they got you here, when they thought about bringing you here. That's very important. When I was in the womb of my mother, all right, I was a twin. So I had a little brother or I had a little sister right there with me while I was in my mother's womb. All right? My mother had a miscarriage, meaning that one of them died. So when she had a miscarriage, she didn't even know that she had twins. So she went through all the different procedures that a woman goes through after they have a miscarriage or one of their children dies. So then she goes back to the doctor 6 weeks later and she goes in there to get a checkup. They checking her up and they tell her, ma'am, Miss Russell, you are still pregnant. Now my mother said when she realized that I was still in her womb, she didn't know she had twins. She thought she had lost the only child she had. That she got nervous, she started crying, she was upset because she thought that then I was going to be born deformed. All right? So 6 months later, here I come into the world. My name is Larry Thomas Russell Jr. I'm named after my father. By the time I was 4 years old, my mother and my father began to separate. They went through a divorce. All right? So before you know it, they're battling for me. My father was a ranger in the military. Always overseas, but he was a good father to me. But my mother and my father began to have problems with one another. In our language, we call it were beefing with one another. All right? So therefore, they started fussing over me, so they said, we're going to let the courts handle it. So when I went through the court system, they then decided to allow me to go through processes with psychiatrists and psychologists, which I, to this very day, do not agree with. So my father decided, because I was going through that process and he saw what was happening to me and how my spirit and how my attitude was changing, he had decided then that I'm just going to go ahead and leave you alone. There's more to the story, and I'll be coming back to see you over the periods of time, but I'm going to leave it at that so I can get to my message. All right? So at 6 years old, my name at Larry Thomas Russell, by the time I turned 7, my name was Larry Thomas Rivera. Jr. dropped off. To this very day, the man who raised me from the time I was in the womb of my mother to the time I was 6 years old, I haven't seen him. We sat down when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, in between that period, and he said, listen, this is the last time you're going to see me. And we sat down and we had an agreement, because there was another man in my life who was man enough to step in my life. His name was Joe Rivera. And he came into my life and he started mentoring me. And he fell in love with my mother. Then in time, he married my mother. Then over a period of time, about a year or two, I took on his name. So I'm no longer a junior. Now I am a Rivera. All right? So many of you who don't have a father, listen, that's nothing new. Many of you who don't have a mother, listen, many of us are like that. That's nothing new. So let's go ahead and clear it away. By the time I was 10 years old, I had gotten so many fights from being angry that my pop decided, I'm going to put you in martial arts for your 10th birthday. Now, I was very, very, very smart at school. Right here at your age, I was very smart. Scoring high in the country. All right? Doing very well. But I had a problem fighting. I had an attitude. I wasn't a bully. We're going to discuss bullies later. But if somebody picked on me or somebody did anything to me, I was ready to fight. And I did fight. And I was a small guy. All right? But I could beat some of the biggest guys. All right? So my father decided, after I've been suspended so many times, a very brilliant young man who just kept fighting all the time, that I'm going to put you in martial arts. You need some discipline. So I got into martial arts, and by the time I was 14 and 15 years old, I was #1 fighter in the United States in my weight division. All right? By the time I was 15 years old, I was training at the Olympic Training Center. This is 5 years of fighting. Some children have been doing this for 10 years and were as good a fighter as I was. I was trained by a woman, do you hear me? The highest ranking black belt female in the world, Myung Mays, from Korea, trained me. Not another man, but a woman. All right? In Korea, she is a superstar. So she had just came over here, hadn't been over here too long in the United States at the time, and she took on a team. And she would take us all around the country and we'll beat everybody. All right? I was on the Lou Rawls telethon. Some of y'all don't know what that is. But in time, you'll get to know little things that I'm telling you. A lot of things that I'm telling you right now, you may not understand to the degree that you're going to understand as years go on. But I'm going to plant a seed in your mind that's going to germinate. As you grow up, it's going to be like water being poured on a plant. All right? You're going to start growing from what I'm saying to you. So at 15 years, I'm in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. 2 gold medals at the Junior Olympics. #1 fighter in my weight division. All right? By the time I was 17 years old, I graduated from high school. Stopped doing taekwondo. Got burned out. When my teacher used to train us, she used to take us in the hottest weather. The way you see martial arts, any of y'all in martial arts right now, listen, when I was coming up in martial arts, it was different than what it is right now. She used to paddle us, not just on our behind, she would make us lay down. Somebody stand in our stomach, right? Then she'll come with a paddle, and guess what she paddled you at? On the bottom of your feet. All right? Weren't no child abuse back then. That was training. That was discipline. By the time I was 11 years old, I was running behind her in a car on the street. Do you hear me? In 100-degree weather. Weren't no child abuse then. That was discipline. All right? We got trained. We got taught the right way. Listen. Now, by the time I was 17 years old, I was sitting in a class, an advanced math class. All seniors, maybe a couple of other juniors were in the class. And a lady walked into class and she said, how many of you seniors are failing English? A light bulb went up in my head. I said, all I need is an English to graduate. So I raised my hand. And as I raised my hand, the lady said, here you go, fill this paperwork out, sir, and you can graduate during the summer. She never knew I was a junior. So I signed the paperwork, they processed my paperwork. I went to summer school at Massey Hill with all the people that was failing English, that were seniors. When it was time to graduate, we had our graduation ceremony at Terry Sanford. I walked, got my degree, see you later. No 12th grade. This is before a lot of people were doing it. Income accounting. I did. All right? My principal got upset with me when they requested the paperwork because he said I manipulated the system. But I'm going to teach y'all about the system. So then from there I graduated. I applied to go to NC State. I applied to go to UNC Pembroke. NC State said, because you're coming out of your 11th grade, we want you to mature a little more, get a little bit more classes up under your belt, and therefore go to a smaller school and then apply to us later, because I wanted to go to veterinarian school. My first cousin, my cousin right over there, sitting right there, her brother graduated from NC State, electrical and chemical engineer. So I wanted to go to NC State, but I wanted to go to the toughest school to get in the country, and that's veterinarian school, to be a doctor for animals. Do you hear me? Now, a lot of people right now would describe a lot of you as animals. Untamed, disrespectful, in trouble all the time, find everything funny. All right? So I went to Pembroke State University. At the time, it was called Pembroke State University, not UNCP. I went through my first semester, went through it no problem, majoring in biology. My second semester, murder charge. You hear me? Do you hear me? Second semester, already a murder charge. Do you hear me? The world before me, I could do anything I want to. Brilliant individual. Me and my partner get a murder charge. It's his second murder charge. All right? When I was going to UNC Pembroke, I was at college. And when I was at college, at a particular party sponsored by the college. We're at the party on the campus. I was approached by an adult. The adult came to me, and when he came to me, he made an offer to me. And I thought about it. I gave him a phone call. Back then, we didn't have cell phones. All right? I gave him a call from the school, told him I accept the offer. This is an adult now. So then that offer was to start selling guns. So he started taking me to crooked pawn shops. All right? And he took me to these crooked pawn shops, and they were giving me guns. And the first deal I did, I had to give him all my necklaces and give him my rings. All right? I gave him my jewelry that I had coming up as a little boy. So they gave me the guns. I was only 17 years old. Now, some of y'all are how old? 12, 13, 14?
Yeah, 11.
All right. I was only 17 years old. I took these guns, and guess what I started doing? I started going into communities, I started selling the guns. All right? So then all of a sudden, people start getting shot. At the age of 17 years old, me and my girlfriend, we had our own apartment. Furniture, you hear me? Computer, you name it, I had it. Car. By the time I turned 18, I had all that. Right off Cliffdale Road. All right, while going to college. So I was selling these guns. So then one day at the age of 18 years old, I'm driving, I get pulled over, I get a ticket for speeding. So I go to the courthouse for the hearing, and I'm sitting out there, and I see the same guy who made me an offer walk from behind the judge's bench. Think about this. I just turned 18 years old. So I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, who is this guy? I thought he was a street guy. So I'm looking at him, I said, he must be a crooked cop, so I didn't pay no attention to it. So I go back with him, and I tell him I seen him there, but I'm just, you don't say everything to people because you don't want to stop the money from coming in, so we keep doing the deals. And I keep selling the guns. And then one day I'm out in the neighborhood, right? Because it was a neighborhood fight. And a big issue takes place, and everybody pulls out guns, and the guy that was right beside me, he was not a friend of me at the time, was murdered. All right? But he tried to take my life. All right? He tried to take my life, but he ended up murdered. 16 years old. Dead. Do you hear me? I sat there and watched him die. Do you hear me? 16 years old, man. A phenomenal football player. Hanging with the wrong people. I'm hanging with the wrong people. He ends up dead. I end up with a murder charge. My partner ends up with a murder charge. All right, so we go on a run. My partner gets arrested. That's his second murder charge. All right? Other people got shot, but there was only one that died. I end up getting arrested later. I'm facing life in prison. My partner's facing death penalty. And I'm talking about a good friend of mine. You see, a lot of you out here take a lot of things you see on TV, you take it as a joke. This reality TV, that's not reality. I'm giving you reality today, and I'm going to bring it to you. All right? I'm going to teach you what reality is really all about, and I'm going to teach you that you got one life to live. Now, you can blow it if you want to, but when it's over, it's over. So don't play with your life, man. Don't play with your life, ladies. Take your life very serious. Now, there's a lot of you right now in this period of time of your life because of what you're going through with your mother, with your father, with your grandmother in a foster home. All right? A lot of you think that, man, my life is over. What I'm telling you right now, I'm 39 years old, and my life is just beginning. Your life is far from over. It's just beginning. It ain't even really began. So I told you earlier that you are the future. Right or wrong? Man, if you can't pay attention, there's a door. All right? Now listen. Listen. Because I'm not playing with you today. I'm trying to reach you. And if you want to sit beside somebody and distract them, right, and you don't want to pay attention to what I have to say, because I took off work, I took time out. I got my children over there. Don't play with me. Don't play with my time. If you don't want to hear this message, there's the door. Take the opportunity right now. Anybody want to go? Take the opportunity right now. Anybody don't want to be here? You don't have to be here. Anybody. I'm not begging you to stay. Is there anybody that don't want to be here? Now, if someone distracts you, all right, you put them in check. Because they're playing with your life. You understand? I'm not playing with your life. I'm trying to make you get serious with your life. All right? Now, we're talking about life and death. Who want to play with that? Anybody? I've seen it. Not one time. More than one time. Death. Now, you say you want me to give you the truth, right?
Yeah.
Were you lying? Now, you want me to give you the truth, but you're going to lie to me. Now, 99% of you are paying attention to me. I'm speaking to the 1%. So listen. One bad apple can ruin the bunch. One rotten apple can make all of you start to rot. So I'm speaking to the 1% right now. Now, I told you that you are the future. And this brings me to the subject, because I went into prison for 10 years, but I'm back now. And I've been out for 10 years now. So I'm coming with a message to let you know what's on the other side. And I'm not just talking about on the other side of the fence. I'm talking about the other side of your life. All right? That's what I'm talking about. You have a prime opportunity right now to take advantage of your life right now. Many of you are going to walk out of here today and you're going to say, you know what? I'm on a mission just like him. Now, when I spoke at E.E. Smith, the mayor opened up for me. I didn't open up for the mayor. Mayor Chris Ray out of Spring Lake opened up for me. Now, let's make it very clear before I go on. I have doctors that invite me over their house. I have lawyers that invite me over their house. I've been over the mayor's house. All right? So I've come from one state of mind into another state of mind, and there's some value in me. But I'm telling you that there's a lot of value in you. So this brings me to my subject. My subject today is back to the future. Because if you look in the world today, right now, they're not paying attention to you. 70% of you in the 8th grade, 70%, that means 7 out of 10 people in the 8th grade cannot read proficiently, are functionally illiterate in the 8th grade. Now, I got a daughter that's in the 4th grade here at Alpha Academy. And she reads very well. I got an 8-year-old that speaks Spanish and English and reads both of them very well. But an 8th grader can't read proficiently? Can't understand what they're reading? Now, are we failing you or are you failing the system? The system is failing you. Yes, you are failing in class. But you know who they pay all the time to come see you? They'll pay entertainers to come to Fayetteville State. When you get to college, them people before you, they pay them. All right? When you look at the different entertainers like 2 Chainz, who's 2 Chainz? 2 Chainz to me is too lame. You understand? You understand? I don't have no fear of no 2 Chainz or no Jeezy or none of them. T.I., none of them. You understand? Some of their music is good, but 2 Chainz, come on, man. I mean, come on, man. Now, there's some of them like Lil Wayne. He's brilliant. He's a genius. Jay-Z, brilliant and a genius. Even Bow Wow with some of his lyrics are sometimes brilliant. All right? But I've met a lot of them guys. All right? 2 Chainz, listen, I got a chain. All right? What does that make me? Yo, I'm serious. Look at this. You see this right here? You see this right here? This is a real chain. All right? Real gold, real diamonds. All right? Who knows what the big S550 Mercedes is? I had it. All right? Who knows what a 750 is? I had it. Who knows what a 650 is? I had it. Who knows what a CLS 500 is? I had it. Who knows what an LS 430 is? I had it. All right? All them people you admire, I met them. All right? I interviewed them. I spent the night with them. All right? I sold a car to Little John. You hear me? All right? Real story. His favorite car, I sold it to him. All right? When he gets on VH1 and he's got that white Cadillac 1968, he came to me to get that to him. All right? So I'm not telling you something I don't know. I'm telling you something that I know and I experience. I don't watch reality TV. That's unreality to me because I lived it. I know what's on the other side of the fence. All right? So when I say that we failing you in the educational system, I know what I'm talking about. All right? I'm not making this up. A lot of the people, grown-ups and adults, don't even like me talking like this because I'm talking about them. But first I can talk about myself and talk about how big of a dummy I was. Politicians can't even get up and tell you the truth. Because telling the truth today ain't the end thing. A joker can get out there and put on some tattoos, put some chains on, right? And all of a sudden, he's somebody. Put on some $200 shoes, some $100 pants and some shirts, cut his hair all fancy, and he's somebody. What has he done to make him somebody? Got y'all following behind them. Got your pants sagging. Wearing tight jeans, brothers. Wearing tight jeans and you think it's cool. Who got you doing that? Who got your brother doing that? Who got your uncle doing that? Who got your daddy doing that? You hear me? Wearing tight jeans like a female. You hear me? Think about it. Think about it. Who got you wearing clothes? Who got your mother doing it? Your sister doing it? Your aunt doing it? Who got you doing these things to reveal what you should be hiding from the world? Who got you thinking that's cool? I'm going to teach you today about that. I'm going to teach you today about that. There's some people out here that's not your friends. That TV you watching every day, they not your friends. That reality, basketball wives. Who know about basketball wives? But how many of you got straight A's? Y'all can tell me when the award show is coming on. You can tell me when 106 and Park is coming on, who was on it yesterday. But you can't tell me a mathematical formula. You can't tell me the truth of the history. Now think about it. When I was coming to school, they told me that Christopher Columbus discovered America. How the heck he discovered America when there was people already here? And I was believing that foolishness. When I was coming up, my mother taught me there was a Santa Claus. Think about it. They start off lying to you. Teach you that a bunny lays eggs. Does a bunny lay eggs? Already lying to you. They take you and they take a tooth out your mouth, put it in your pillow, and you wake up this morning and tell you it's a tooth fairy. Got you believing this stuff. Your own parents started lying to you. Before anybody else can lie to you and break your heart, your own mother, your own daddy, your own aunt, your own cousin, your own uncle started lying to you. And then when you get to school, they talk about tell the truth. Be honest. Have good character. And they start you off with a lie. Don't know that that's already conditioning your mind to accept a lie, to believe a lie over the truth. You've been programmed. And see, they don't like me to be before you to deprogram you. I'm trying to save your life. You hear me? I'm trying to preserve your life. I'm 39 years old. I look younger than some of your parents that's only probably 26, 28, 30 years old. You understand? This ain't just genetics. It's how I eat, how I live, how I think. Some of you, by the time you get to 9th grade, 10th grade, gonna look like you're 20-something years old and you think it's cool. Hanging out with your cousin, hanging out with your uncle, hanging out with your aunt, smoking, drinking. Listen to me. This is a reality. I'm here today, coming up here to expose these people to you. Many of you out here, we ain't gonna say it because we don't know. I don't know. But some of you have been abused by your mother, your father, mentally and physically. When I was coming up, I had a wonderful mother, but let's make it clear. My mother was sick from the time I was 6 years old. My mother is a beautiful woman. I love my mother. All right? But me and my mother never got along. Because my mother was sick, she was constantly in pain. So I grew up watching my mother sick. My mother got to 65 pounds when I was young. On her deathbed. All right? I watched my mother throwing up all the time. I watched my mother had to quit her job. I watched my mother in the hospital all the time. I had to take that. So out of my mother's pain, she lashed it out on me. So some of you who have been disappointed by your mother, by your fathers, I've been disappointed too. There's no feeling like that. I know the feeling when you feel alone, when you're feeling bullied by the ones that's supposed to be loving you. I know that feeling. I know what it feels like to have somebody walk out of my life. I know that feeling. It's hurtful. It's painful. Some of you been molested by your own uncle or your fathers. All right? So I'm telling you, it's back to the future. Why am I saying back to the future? Because you are the future, and I'm coming back to you to wake you up, to put you on the right course, to let you know I had the world before me, and I gave it up. You're not going to make it in this world. Every one of us got to go through some kind of struggle, some kind of pain. Everybody's going to have to go through it sooner or later. Some of you start going through it when you're young. I'm telling you, don't give up. Some of you start going through when you're in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I'm telling you, don't give up. You hear me? Some of you have been gravely disappointed. And then we look at you and say, you failed. We look at you in the eyes, don't know what you've been through, what you're going through, what you thinking. When you're dealing with a person that's been disappointed by the very people who say they love them, it's hard to reach that person. Whenever a person gets bit by a snake, what they got to use to go back and then heal that person who got bit by a snake? It's called an antidote, am I right? And the antidote comes from the very snake that bit them. So I'm that antidote. I've been there, done that. They want to put before you people that just come up here and talk to you and talk about how successful they've been. Never telling you the mistakes they made. Never telling you they smoked weed. Never telling you what they did. Never telling you they had a gun and they shot somebody. Never telling you that they abused their children. Never telling you that they neglected their children. Never telling you they don't even call their son or their father or their mother. Never telling you this stuff. They just come before you and make it seem like it's a perfect world out here. And I'm sitting here trying to tell you ain't nothing perfect about this world. All right? You got an enemy out here. And I'm trying to introduce you to the enemy. Things not getting better. Things are getting worse by you. Parents out here partying more than a college student. You hear me? A parent with 3 or 4 children, she's more worried about her weaves and her nails. More worried about her rims or her car. Father more worried about his partners. More caught up on the music, but he can't tell you what his son or what his daughter's learning in school. But he can tell you about the latest album that's out, the latest CD, the latest movie. But he can't tell you about what you're doing in school. Can't quote how many grades you got in this class, what science project you did. You hear me? This is a reality, man. It's a real world for you. And you got to be taught how to stand up and defend yourself. Nobody's teaching you that. You sit back on the earth. Look at the earth. Get in the encyclopedia. Get on the computer. It's spinning on an axis. Nobody's touching it. That's incredible mathematics. Look at the planets. Nobody's touching it, but it's obeying the law. Do you hear me? You don't know who put that earth in motion. You don't know who put that sun in motion. You don't know who put the flames in there. You don't know who put the moon up there. You don't know that. You don't know the work and the scientific and the mathematics that had to go behind that. They make it seem like it just happened. But they got a little contraption that's all the way about 55 million miles away on Mars. Think about it. They make it seem like it's a little remote control car. And they send it 55 million miles away. There are times when it's 100 million miles away from the Earth. They make it seem like it's a little car. But that thing is the size of my car. You think about it. They sent something the size of my car 55 million miles away and taking pictures and looking at the soil. But they're going to tell you they can't reach you. Think about it. They can't educate you and make everybody out here get straight A's. They lying to you. Who's your teacher? Who's your education? What is this system really about? Are you taking advantage of it, or are you just going by, just trying to get by? And then you're going to be out there homeless one day. You're going to be dead because you're going to be forced, or you're going to feel forced to go out there and sell drugs and hustle. By the grace of God, I'm here today. All right? I went to prison. They said I'd never make it out of prison because of my attitude. All right? When I went to prison, listen, I didn't tell on nobody. I went to court by myself. My partner went to court by himself. All right? Facing the death penalty. Facing life. They said we'll never come and out here be able to do what we're doing right now. I thought my life was over with. After I got a murder charge, I got out of jail. After I got out of jail, guess what? I went back to college. I went to the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. That's how good I was in school. But then after that, I ended up with bank robbery charges. Do you hear me? They were looking for me for a long time. Now let me explain this to you. You are mathematics. When they look inside of you, it's called a genetic code. How many of y'all know who Tupac is? Now you know who Tupac is. They've been watching Tupac from the time he was a baby because of his mother and his father. Do you hear me? They don't want a whole bunch of Larry Riveras out here. If every one of you was a Larry Rivera, they couldn't control you. They couldn't make the money off you. The pork industry will go out of business. The beef factories will go out of business. There will be no more cigarettes to sell to anybody. There will be no more weed to sell to anybody. Do you hear me? There will be no more sodas to sell to anybody. Because I don't drink or I don't eat and I don't smoke that. All right? So I put a lot of people out of business by teaching you. So they don't want me out here. Ain't nobody paying me to come out here and teach you. All right? I ain't been paid yet, and I've been doing this for 10 years. And you just hearing about me. But you hear about a T.I. Who the heck is T.I.? All right? T.I. say he king of the South. All right? Well, that's last time I checked about a king got property. All right? A king owns things. He got a backing of people that will follow him. All right? How many of y'all, when he went to jail, sent T.I. some money? T.I. went to jail and couldn't even get himself out, but he the king of South. He had to make a phone call to the north and get somebody from the north to come get him out. So how he a king? That's a misrepresentation of a king. Let me tell you what a king is. A king was over in Africa, all right, with his queen. And they built the pyramids. They today can't figure out who built them, how they built them. They got a sphinx sitting over there with a lion's paws with a head of a human being. They can't figure out who built this. They got the Nile River running upstream. All right? Reverse of all the other and the longest of all the others. You hear me? They can't figure out what's going on in these areas. And then when they come over here, they go into Mexico and different parts of the earth, they see there's pyramids all over the earth. People have been traveling way before we had these planes. These little planes you're seeing right now, Johnny-come-lately planes. All right? We behind time. You living in a new world. So then they bring the kings over here. You think they're going to enslave a king? Let me teach you about how you enslave a king. Let's go and start with the king of the jungle, with the lion. You think they're going to take a lion and just bring him over here with one little whip? Have a lion just going here and jumping through a loop hoops of fire? It don't work like that. The first thing you do, you take the lion and you bring him and then you isolate the lion. Then you breed the lion. And then you take the cubs, which are the children, and you isolate it from its nature. And you take it from its environment. And you teach it to be other than itself. And then you teach it to bow down to a whip. So that lion looking from growing up all his life, looking at the whip, thinks the whip is more powerful than it is. He don't even know the power. She don't even know the power that she possessed inside of her. Because nobody told her. That lion has been lied to all this life. They take a killer whale. They don't go get a grown killer whale out of the ocean and then put it inside of Disney World or Disneyland. And then make this whale jump out of the ocean and get one little piece of fish. This thing is a killer whale. They take a killer whale and they take it when it's a baby. And they teach it and they mold it from the time it's a baby. And they put it in a little old confined pool of water. And it knows nothing about the ocean. And after they raise that lion or they raise that killer whale for so long, or that tiger, they can't even release it into the wild because it don't even know how to feed itself. Because somebody's been feeding them all their life. Now, if they can do this to a killer whale, if they can do this to a lion, if they can do this to a tiger, if they can take a big old huge elephant who's got a memory greater than yours and greater than mine and make it stand on 2 feet for 1 peanut, what do you think they're doing to you? Now, you think they like this kind of teaching? Now, I told you about the earth, all right? And you don't have nothing to do with it. We're riding on this earth right now. 66,000 miles per hour, we traveling. Ain't no car riding as smoother than this earth out there. All right? It's rotating on its axis, and we traveling around the solar system. And do you feel it? I don't feel it. That's supreme and superior mathematics. Do you hear me? Now you got people and teachers will tell you, I got my degree, you got to get yours. They get 1 degree, then they tell you I got a master's degree. But guess what? They ain't mastered nothing. Then a doctor will come and say, I got a PhD, I got a doctor, and guess what? The doctor's dying before the people. More sicknesses out there. We got more doctors on the planet than anything right now. But more people are dying from sicknesses, so they're not a doctor of what? Of anything. You see, I'm trying to wake you up. I'm coming out of prison. I'm coming out of the womb of my mother. I've been facing death from the time I was in my mother's womb. And when I told you about Tupac, they've been watching Tupac. How many of y'all know who Barack Obama is? They've been watching President Barack Obama's father before President Obama was even here. They don't want too many Obamas. They don't want too many Larrys. They don't want too many Tupacs. You hear me? They want everybody like 2 Chainz or Nicki Minaj. Or Miley Cyrus or Cyrus or whatever. They want you just dancing and singing and then like throwing carrots out there and you just gonna follow behind it like a pig. Eating slop. Feeding your mind with foolishness all the time. So I told you about the earth, right? Now we're here at Alpha Academy. Alpha means the beginning. A lot of you sit on the outside or sit on the inside of the school while you're playing out here or you're on the inside. You don't know who's putting work in to get this thing going. We're sitting in this beautiful gym. You don't know the work that's going behind this. You sitting in the classroom. I recently found out somebody went and used the bathroom, doo-dooed not in the toilet, but on the floor. Oh my God. And it's got to be a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader. Now you hear me? What kind of mind is that? That's a mind that's thinking like an animal. That won't even go put it in its proper place. But somebody has sit here and sacrificed for you to educate you. I got a special love for Alpha Academy. Y'all got a great opportunity. I don't agree with everything that Mr. Slocum says or does. All right? I don't agree with everything that your teacher says or does. But you got to take charge of your life. All right? Because see, when I went into prison, you know how many people was in there with life sentences? Just like me. Brilliant. All the opportunities in the world. One of my partners just got out after doing 18 years. He was in college and got a drug charge. All right? After 18 years, I left when I was 19 years old. I lost all my 20s. You hear me? But I'm back now, and I'm speaking to my future. Your mother and your father, when they died, you still here, they living in you. They can look inside of each and every one of you. Look at the mathematical gene codes. All right? And they can tell you who your mother is. They can even now tell you what part of the planet you're from. That's mathematics, man. And you fail in mathematics. So they can do all this. So like I said about President Obama, or or I say about Tupac, or I say about J.F. Kennedy. Look at his father. Look at these men's father. Look at their mothers. Look at Michael Jackson. All right? He was shaped and molded by somebody. You see, you look at the entertainers, right? And when they start off a certain way, but when Michael Jackson died, he was having a song out there called This Is It. He had a song out here saying they don't really care about us. You see, when people like me come back and want to teach you, they then start trying to smear our character. Well, you know he's an ex-felon. See, I got to travel with that with me for the rest of my life. A lot of people are afraid to speak like me. When I was in prison, when I went to prison, listen, I went in there and still studied and graduated from Shaw University, got a 4-year degree. While in prison and graduated magna cum laude. You hear me? I'm no dummy. I want y'all to hear me today. I'm no dummy. So then when I left there, I didn't want to go. I was in a medium prison, right? Medium security. I didn't want to leave the medium security. They wanted to send me to a low security. So they sent me to a low security. I didn't want to go to a low security because when you go to the low security, they don't take life serious. All right? The kind of person I am, I didn't mind being in the penitentiary. Because people take life serious. You lose your life like that. Disrespect somebody. Ain't no bullying somebody up in there. Not when people got a life sentence. Bully a person with a life sentence. What they got to lose? You see, some of you right now, you sit here and you pick on somebody for their color, their complexion, their size. You know what I'm saying? The way they talk. The way their mother look, the way their father look, but you don't know how they go home and how they feel in their hearts. That's going to come back on you. Just like the earth goes around on this axis, right? Then it goes around the sun. Guess what? The same thing happens with you. What you do today will come back and get you. What you do good will come back and reward you. Why do you think I'm out here right now? Huh? Because I participated in some things that took some lives. I'm trying to redeem myself. I got a job for the rest of my life to do. You hear me? When that young man looked at me and he was dying and I looked in his eyes, he gave me a mission that I didn't understand. A life was taken. You hear me? I got 5 children. 5 of them. Y'all gonna be their leaders. They look up to y'all. What you gonna do with your life? Admiring Nicki Minaj and all these people. Who's behind these people and putting this image out there for you? See, Michael Jackson came as a little Michael Jackson. But as he got older, listen, as he got older, he started seeing what was going on. Do you hear me? And he started making music to wake the children and wake the youth up. And they didn't like that. All right? So a brother like me speaking like this, I'm putting my life on the line. I can easily be out there doing things. Listen, I showed you the chain. I told you about the cars. All right? I have it. Got the pictures and everything. Got the people in here who can bear witness to it. I gave it up. You hear me? Because it didn't mean nothing to me. Yes, I still like him and I may get it one day again. But I got to put my priorities right. I got 5 children. I got to focus. And I'm telling you to focus. How many of y'all seen the movie called Avengers? Plenty of y'all seen that movie. These were human beings with a gift. Right? Each and every one of you have a gift. But let me give you a little story. There were 3 children in the house. The mother yelled, the father yelled and said, Santa just left. And the 3 children jumped up on their beds and they all ran up under the tree and they all pulled their gift out, but 2 children opened their gifts first. One opened his up in 10 seconds. He started bragging about what he has. The other opened his up in 30 seconds. All right? He started bragging about what he had. The last one to try to open up his gift, he lost focus on opening up his gift and looking for his gift, and all he could see was somebody else's gift. And then he started complaining and started saying, why did I get that? Why don't I have that? Why not me? It ain't fair. But he lost focus, or she lost focus on the gift that was right there before her. So I'm telling each and every one of you, a lot of you are watching all these entertainers and all this foolishness. All right? I don't even agree with everything that President Obama do. You hear me? But you're going to have differences with people. That's life. Every one of you are mathematically coded differently. There is nobody in here the same. Just because you're different don't mean somebody's better than you or worse than you. You're just different. Who taught you a certain complexion was bad? Who taught you a certain size was bad? Who taught you that one was good and one wasn't? Some of you look at TV and you know you don't look like that woman on TV, or you don't look like that guy on TV, and you feel bad about yourself every time you look in the mirror because you don't look what they say. What they say looks good. You hear me? Do you hear me? Y'all thinking, aren't you? Am I entertaining you?
Yes.
Are y'all offended?
No.
Am I bothering any of you?
No.
Any of y'all want to walk up out of here?
Yes.
It's almost been an hour. Has that gone by fast?
Yes.
No, honestly. Has it gone by fast or has it gone by slow? Now, you know, they'll say, you know, the youth, you only can spend about 10, 15 minutes with them. But they're not going to pay attention. You know, they're going to be bored. So just go ahead and say what you got to say. You hear me? I'm not mad at y'all. But see, I know how to speak the language that y'all speak. All right? I know how to reach y'all. But like I said, they ain't paying me. You see these cameras up here? There ain't nobody ain't even offered about here, camera, to come speak to you. All these adults out here. All this money out here. Who knows about the floods that just took place? In New York, right?
Yes.
Did y'all see on TV where they had the crane that was broken?
Yes.
How many children are they showing that's broken? On the crane, you know what they were building? That whole building is for rich folks. We in a recession now. Guess how much the building on the penthouse on the top costs? $90 million. And somebody just bought $90 million. And they won't even pay me $5 to come out here and speak to you. You hear me? You got an enemy out here. They're always on TV, the politicians talking about no money for education, no money for this. But how about that 90 million? That was one, it's 80 stories high. That building I'm talking about, 80 stories high. The top floor and the one below, right beyond or below the top floor, $90 million. Oprah Winfrey. I love Oprah. She's brilliant. She's talented. Bought a house for $55 million. Do you hear me? She don't have no children. She's not even married. Got 20 or 30 toilets. How's she going to use all them toilets? Y'all won't even use the one you got here. You put it on the floor. You stuff up the toilets. Think about it. When you got people here sacrificing their life, how many people you see come before you talk like this to you?
Amen.
How many? How many of y'all ever had somebody come out here in the school and speak to you the way I speak to you? Am I reaching you?
Yes.
No, you ain't got to just say it to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to turn my back by a show of hands. How many of you feeling what I'm saying today? How many of y'all love what I'm saying today? You ain't got to impress me. I'm not going to be mad at you. You understand? How many of y'all love it when I'm talking to you right now? Show your hands. Let me hear your voice. Listen, how many of you love Larry just for what he's telling you right now? Let me hear your voice. That's what I'm talking about. You hear me? But the adults will be scared to bring me before you. You know why? When you go home, you're going to be looking at mom and daddy a little bit different now. When that teacher tell you, yeah, I got my degree, right? You're going to say, you know what? Yeah, you got one of them, but it's 360 degrees. Where the other 359 of them? So they got 1 little degree. They got 2 little degrees. They got 3 little degrees. And they spend all this money and all this time getting these degrees. And they ain't reaching you. 357 of them still out here just lingering. And they think they're doing something. Let me teach your math class. They won't let me do it because the way the system is set up, they won't let me teach your math class. Oh, he's got a felony. He can't come in there and teach you guys. I come in there and smoke your teachers. You hear me? You hear me? I'll smoke them. You hear me? I'll come up in there and listen, let me teach you. I'll teach you math just the way I'm teaching you right now. When you walk up out of that classroom, you be on fire. You hear me? You be so pumped up. But they say, no, I can't teach you because I got a felony. You hear me? And I call them failures. Yeah, I got an F. They got an F too. I got a felony, they got a failure. Because they can't teach you. They can't reach you. All right? Y'all hear me? So I want every one of you to understand, right now, I want you to understand you got a gift. Stop running behind all these entertainers and all these friends that you think are your friends. They're not your friends. I want you to leave out of here today, all right? Because I'm giving you a foundation. I'll be back. How many of y'all want me to come back? Me? By show of hands. Listen, now I want to hear your voice. How many of y'all want me to come back and teach on something? Did I entertain you? Did I dance? Did I shake my behind? All right. Did I show you my doo-doo stains with my pants on? All right. I ain't got to do that to reach you. All right. I ain't got to do that, do I? I don't have to do that, and y'all love what I'm saying. Let me teach you history class. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what background you got. When I walk up out there, you're going to love it. You're going to respect it. You're going to be interested. Let me teach you social studies.
Yes.
All right?
Please, yes.
Let me teach you the math and the science class. Do you hear me? But they don't want people like me because you know what? I'm going to free your minds. I'm going to really educate you. You see, the judges down there, they won't have jobs if there was many of me in your classroom. Because there wouldn't be too many people to put in jail. All right? They got private prisons out there that's on the stock market. And I'm going to close with this as I speak about Back to the Future. I come out of prison. I'm not ashamed to say I came out of prison because I know who I am. All right? I talk to your mother like this. I talk to your daddy like this. I talk to Mr. Sloper like this. I talk to anybody like this because they don't own me. All right? I'm a free man. All right? With a free mind. And I'm trying to free your minds from this foolishness that you take into your mind. You are what you eat. You are what you think. As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. So if you're watching Nicki Minaj all the day and all the times, Nicki Minaj didn't even look like that before she was Nicki Minaj. Lil Wayne had to put about $150,000 to $200,000 pumping her behind up, pumping her breasts up, plastic surgery, weeds. All right? So listen to me. Be quiet. Listen to me. These are images that they put out there for you. They're not real. And they see me as the enemy. You know why? Because I'm exposing. All right? If I had a PowerPoint up here right now, I'll show you. I met them people. I interviewed them people. What I'm going to do with this right here, when I'm recording it, I'm going to turn it into a DVD. And then on that DVD, I'm going to put the pictures on it for you. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you this CD right here, this DVD. All right? So everything you see me saying, I'll put the entertainers on there so you can see it. All right? This chain I got. All right? A lot of the entertainers, them chains you see are not real. Well, how do you know that, Larry? Because the man who made my chain makes their chains in Atlanta. All right? And them guys that you see on TV and everything, they owe them jewelers. When I was there, Allen Iverson. How many of y'all know who Allen Iverson is? Allen Iverson owed the jeweler that I was dealing with $150,000. Do you hear me? T.I. went to jail. He couldn't even get himself out of jail. He didn't have $3 million. Do you hear me?
Yes.
So you see him on TV now. All right? I like T.I. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying all entertainers are bad, but I'm saying they're going to have to clean their message up. They're going to have to clean their music up. Something extreme is going to have to take place. Do you hear me?
Yes.
The weather, look at it. Now listen, this is what I'm closing on. The earth. You can't keep abusing the earth and think that the earth ain't going to defend itself. He got here way before we got here. We mistreating the earth. All right? Taking it for granted. Abusing it. Not respecting it. The same thing you do to your mother and your father. Listen, whether they were good to you or bad to you, you heal that in your heart for them. Because they got to weigh that on their chest. Do you hear me? But the same thing with the school. If you abuse the school, you abuse your teachers. You know what I'm saying? You're abusing yourself. And what happens? You get expelled, am I right? You get put out, right? Don't fool yourselves. All right? Don't trick yourself out of a good education. And I'm not saying what you're reading in the book is a good education. That's a miseducation. Do you hear me? Now I'm on a mission. All right? There's some things I want to do for y'all. You see that thing out there called the Captain Johnson STEM Institute? That was my idea. All right? That wasn't Mr. Slocum's idea, Mrs. Slocum's idea. That was my idea. I brought that to them. All right? I brought Miss Catherine Johnson to them. All right? So you don't always got to take credit when it's getting done. You understand? But I'm on a mission, man. Do you hear me? I'm going to use my brilliance. I'm going to use my mind. I'm going to use my gift. And you know what my gift is? You. You my gift. All right? And I'm going to perfect my speech. All right? And I'm going to be the latest and the newest in thing. Do you hear me? People talking like this, we're going to smoke T.I. We're going to smoke 2 Chainz. All right? Because I want y'all to want to be like I am now. Why you got to go to prison? Why you got to get a bullet in your back? Why you got to get AIDS? Why you got to go through all this to learn? Why you got to have a child at the age of 12 or 10? Listen to me. You're going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen in your life. But you don't have to keep making those mistakes. Why you got to bump your head so hard before you say, you know what, I'm going to make a change? Learn from me. I'm going to make this the coolest thing to do. You hear me? Being disciplined. All right? I can't speak before you like this and go live any kind of life. Because guess what? When I left prison, when I was speaking like this in prison, now I'm finished after this. I was teaching like this in prison. You hear me? And guess what they did? They sent me from the medium to the low. I went there, I had to bust somebody in the head for disrespecting me, trying to do harm to me. They locked me up. I stayed in the hole for 3 months. They shipped me then. From there, I went to Atlanta Penitentiary. From Atlanta Penitentiary, I was teaching in Atlanta Penitentiary. Guess what? They poisoned me in Atlanta. This is a true story. My mother had to make threats to them. They shipped me to the hospital in Oklahoma on a plane. All right? And they were going to let me die there. And then another guy stood up for me. All right? They put me in a hospital over there, flew me into the hospital. All right? Took care of me there, sent me to Memphis, Tennessee. Tried to cut deals with me and told me to stop teaching them like this. I refused to stop teaching them like this. They put me in a hole for 4 months. All right? Then from there, they threatened me. True story. All right? One of the guys that was in the hole who know the whole story, he came from Memphis, Tennessee, because after knowing me, he said, Larry, when I get out of prison, I'm coming with you. He owns a car dealership right now. All right? Off Oak Mills Road. I taught him how to sell cars. All right? Now he got his own car dealership. Then from there, they shipped him and shipped me because they said we had too much influence on the prison compound because we were going to the gangbangers and stopping the violence. We were having basketball tournaments with different gangs who were killing each other. And they said, y'all got too much power. So then they put us in a hole. All right? I wouldn't eat for days sometimes. And then they shipped me to Manchester, Kentucky in the mountains. Do you hear me? True story. I love y'all. Take care. Take me serious, man. It's life or death out here. Peace.